So the Bible that Jehovah's Witnesses use, unlike any other Christian religion, they don't call it a Bible. They call it the New World Translation. And when you speak to them, they do say the word Bible, but officially they always name it the New World Translation. And there's a connection with the New World Order. It's the same terminology. So now I'm going to go to the next one. So then back in the beginning of the Jehovah's Witness organization, they called themselves the New World Society. So again, that same terminology, New World Order, New World Society, secret societies. They're also connected with secret societies such as Freemasons, but that's what they used to call themselves. And then this is one of their older books. A lot of this old literature, they ban from their own members. They don't even want their own members looking at their old stuff. But you can find some of this old stuff online. And this right here is called Holy Spirit, the Force Behind the Coming New Order. So back then, they always used these terms, New World Order, New World Translation. And if you talk to Jehovah's Witnesses that have like maybe grandparents, they go way back generation, they'll say that back in the day, they would flat out say the New World Order is coming. They would actually use that terminology, New World Order.
Wow.
So they started to get away from it. So now if you talk to Jehovah's Witnesses, this is an article on one of their websites. And I just highlighted where it says the new system. So they stopped calling it the New World Order to kind of like be more discreet about it, and they call it the new system. So if you talk to Jehovah's Witnesses, they'll talk about, the new system's coming, the new system. But it's basically the same thing. They just switched out system for order, so it's not so obvious.
Mm-hmm.
And then this is one of their books. This book is titled Draw Close to Jehovah. And I just highlight it right here on the right side, where it speaks of God and it says, for his all-seeing eyes. They use that terminology a lot, talking about Jehovah, the God, saying, his all-seeing eyes. And the only time that I really hear anyone using the term all-seeing eye usually is like connected with the Illuminati. Not many other Christian religions use that term all-seeing eyes.
Good points.
And then you know how the deep state, they always they have to give you clues, because the way they understand karma or whatever it is. So they always do little things. Now this is interesting because this is a verse from their newest Bible. They rewrote the Bible about 3 or 4 times already, but this is their newest version that they came out with in 2013. And in this verse, it's Revelation 18:1. It says this right here, the second part of the sentence, and the earth was illuminated by his glory. Now, the only reason that's interesting is because they changed the word to illuminated for no reason. So I'm going to now go to their older version. So this is their older version. This one came out in 1984. And the translation said, and the earth was lighted up, not illuminated, lighted up. So they know that's what the proper translation was. Now, this next one is from the King James Version. And as it says here, the earth was lighted up. So they know that the translation is lighted up. But for some reason in 2013, they put the word illuminate in here. And this new version in 2013, there's quite a few instances where they just added the word illuminate or illuminating, like, and I believe it's giving that reference to the Illuminati because there's no reason for them to just change the translation and put that word in there. So, and this is another book that, this used to be the old elders book, the congregation elders that run the congregations, and the regular pioneers. They used to use this book for their schooling, shining as illuminators. And it's not really that big of a deal on its own, but when you see that there's a pattern of these words are being thrown in, illuminating, new world order, you can kind of see that there is a connection.
Yeah. Wow.
So I want to walk anyone through this so that if Jehovah's Witnesses come to your door, you can show this to them from their own website. So if you go on their own website and search this video, it's called Jehovah's Witnesses Faith in Action Part 1. So just go to their website, it's jw.org, and you can search this video. And then what you want to do is you want to skip to exactly 36 minutes and 50 seconds. And what you're going to see on our own website is the pyramid and all-seeing eye. And I'm going to I'll show you a bigger picture of it blown up. I don't know how clear it is on the screen, but basically you can see this is a pyramid.
Mm-hmm.
And at the top, the eyeball right at the very top. And this is just a clip of one of their old movies that they made, and that's what this is showing. This Faith in Action is just showing their history, but it shows a clip, and you can see the all-seeing eye right on their own website. And if you were to ask Jehovah's Witnesses and say, hey, why do you guys use the all-seeing eye? They won't know what you're talking about. They'll have no idea. And usually when you challenge a Jehovah's Witness, they'll just say that, everything you're saying, it's a lie, that people are making things up. But if you go to their website and go to that timestamp, you can show that, hey, this is on your website. Why are you using the symbol? So then there's another video. If you search this one, Jehovah's Witnesses Faith in Action Part 2, there's a clear Freemasonic symbol. And I'm not saying that all Freemasons are bad, not at all. A lot of Freemasons are not connected with the New World Order, like the lower level Freemasons. But once you get into the secret societies, they are connected with the whole global agenda. And what you see here, if you go to this video, on their website, you can go to exactly 13 minutes and 42 seconds. And you can clearly see a Freemason logo right here. There's no question about it. That's a square and compass of the Freemasons. So the question is just, why are Jehovah's Witnesses using that symbolism as well? A lot of Jehovah's Witnesses don't even know what Freemasons are, and yet these symbols are kind of secretly planted in a lot of their literature. So this is where it gets interesting. So this is Google Earth, and this is a Jehovah's Witness assembly hall that they own in Denmark. And somebody, I think it was maybe about a decade ago, from Google Earth had recognized that from an aerial view, it appears to be an all-seeing eye and pyramid.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see the similarities because, like, on this to the left, at the top of this eye, you can see like those individual lines at the top of the pyramid. And you can see the grass is cut the same way this convention, this assembly hall, the lines, like it's detailed. So that's pretty much impossible that a building can be constructed this way by accident. And when it comes to Illuminati stuff, that like you can't do this type of stuff without their permission. So they're not going to just let an organization just do something like this. The only explanation for this is there has to be a connection. And here's a close-up on the center of the eyeball. So this is the stage right here. This is so if you go to Jehovah's Witness convention,
wow. Yeah.
Yep. So if you go to a convention, there'll always be a Jehovah's Witness on stage giving a talk. And you can see right here is like the center of the eyeball and the pupil of the eye. So it's designed so that when you go to this convention, they're speaking directly in the middle of the eyeball. That has to mean something. So I would say they're more connected with like the Illuminati than I think realize to have this type of detail.
Yeah, that's indisputable. You've really nailed it. Good job.
And this is just some old pictures online to show that that they were meeting here. This is them having a convention. And in that picture, you can't really tell, but that's another view of it. And this one, you can get a better idea. You can see like that's the stage, that's the thing around the eyeball. So that's where they were meeting. So for anyone that wants to see this, this address, that's the exact address on Google Earth. I can't pronounce that, but that's in Denmark. If you type in the address on Google Earth, it will bring you right to this, and you can see it for yourself. So I have a pre-recorded video of me just zooming in on it. And that's the entrance right in the middle.
Wow. Oh my God. So Denmark, I thought it was an American pretty much, I want to say corporation, but a religion.
Yeah, so it is American based, but Jehovah's Witnesses are all over.
Okay.
So I'm not sure exactly why they put this secret symbolism in Denmark. So this is a picture that I took from Google Maps, a live view, and the picture is dated 2019 as far as the Google Earth image of it.
Mm-hmm.
But you can see right here on the right, that's their sign. Jehovah's vendors, that's it in Denmark. And then you can see here those lines right there. Those are lines that we see at the entrance. Yeah, those lines right there. So that's where the sign that said JW was, and then that's what you could see. So there's no question about that. So this is Denver Airport. People who've studied Denver Airport, there's a lot of Illuminati and Freemasonic symbolism at Denver Airport.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the placard that's there because the Freemasons did build it. And as I said, not all Freemasons are bad. But it says under this Freemason logo, it says the New World Airport Commission. And when I researched this, there's no such thing as an actual New World Airport Commission. So some think that this is just there for that terminology, you know, New World Order, New World Translation, New World Society, New World Airport Commission. So it's kind of just that whole New World terminology. Now, the reason I am bringing you to Denver Airport, and this is where it really gets interesting. So Denver Airport has what people consider these creepy, eerie images, these big murals, and the meanings is kind of distorted where you can't really tell like what exactly is going on. Now, this one, I believe it's called Children of the Peace. And when I first seen this picture, I recognized it immediately because this depicts the exact same drawings in Jehovah's Witness literature. Jehovah's Witnesses always, yet they're always drawing something what they call the new system. They used to call it the New World Order, but now they call it the new system. And what they're preaching is that God is going to depopulate everybody except those who are not Jehovah's Witnesses, and is going to be Jehovah's Witnesses of all different nations. And that's what you see here. You see like people in different cultures, different races. And one thing particular to Jehovah's Witness teaching is they always teach how like the animals are going to be at peace. So they'll say like we can have a pet lion and tiger and animals are not going to harm us. If you look right here in the middle, you see like two lions right here. So people that go to Denver Airport, they're going to look at this and not really know what it means. But to Jehovah's Witness, they would immediately recognize what this means, but they just don't know that their same pictures are at Denver Airport. So now I'm going to show you one of Jehovah's Witnesses' drawings to see what I'm talking about. This is what they've been drawing for over 100 years. You see people of different nationalities, different cultures. You see the tiger right here in the middle. depicting the same thing. And let me just go back for a minute. If you took this picture and maybe just cropped out this woman that's sitting next to the painting, and you show this to Jehovah's Witness and said, hey, I found one of your old pictures in one of your old magazines. If you were to say you found one of their old magazines, they would look at it and say, yeah, that's our drawing. That's how similar these illustrations are. And they would look at this, and if you would ask the Jehovah's Witness, hey, what is this? They would be able to explain it to you exactly what's going on, that this is the new system. God depopulated everybody. The animals are at peace. But then if you told them, oh, sorry, it's really Denver Airport, you're going to see they're not going to know what to say.
Excellent research. Wow.
And some of this is because it's more insider knowledge that if you're not a Jehovah's Witness, a lot of people have no idea of the things that they're being repetitively brainwashed with over and over. So once I started looking into it, I immediately kind of recognized a lot of what I already seen experiencing it. So this is another picture at Denver Airport. This is kind of illustrating the chaos. The Freemasons talk about order before chaos, and Jehovah's Witnesses preach like, all this chaos, and then, God's going to basically depopulate. They don't use the word depopulate, but the God's going to basically kill everybody who's not serving him. But you see right here, you see this guy with a gun, then you see like on the left, there's like people suffering. Now this is Denver Airport. So here's a Jehovah's Witness picture of them kind of doing the same thing. You got people here with the guns, you got, people suffering. Like it is illustrating the same thing. Like the world is just all this chaos. And they have these pictures repeated to them over and over and over. So going back to Denver Airport, this one on the left, what it's showing is like the build back better, the rebuilding after when a new world order is here. Like, so when after the earth is cleansed and things are depopulated, it's kind of showing like right here, like they're building. This is illustrating like somebody from the past coming back like on a horse. But this is Denver Airport. So now Jehovah's Witnesses, they have these same drawings with the construction, and you see how they have the construction hats on. And let me just go back, and you see the construction hats on. It's the same thing that, during this new world order, after God destroys everybody, depopulates, then we're going to build back this utopia of all these different races and everything. But I've only seen those type of drawings in Jehovah's Witness literature. So when I seen them at Denver Airport, I immediately recognized it. I've never seen it anywhere else but Jehovah's Witness literature.
Wow, that's because so many people are confused about that Denver Airport.
Yeah.
And you just nailed it. That's so I have a lot of questions. So, but I'll let you continue your presentation, and we'll kind of discuss a little bit.
Yep. Okay, so this shows the dark side of the Watchtower organization. And when I first questioned this, I had people flip out on me in the organization because they're trained that if another Jehovah's Witness starts to ask questions, they're immediately shunned. They're told like it's dangerous, and they completely cut you off. But this is the United Nations website. And what I did was I took a screenshot so that you can see at the very top the web address. If anyone wants to find this information, you can go to UN.org, the official United Nations website, and you type in that address. For some reason, when you try to search it, it doesn't really come up because like thousands of things come up. But type in that exact address at the top there. And what this is that, well, let me backtrack for a minute. So back like in the 80s and 90s, the Jehovah's Witness organization, they had always said that the United Nations are evil and that the United Nations are controlled by Satan and that they're God's enemy. That was in the Jehovah's Witness literature. So what happened was in 2001, I believe, the magazine The Guardian, they came out with an article and they somehow uncovered that the Jehovah's Witness organization was an NGO with the United Nations since 1992. So for 10 years, they were an NGO, partners with the United Nations, and NGOs are very powerful.
Mm-hmm.
So when the Guardian posted this article, within 24 hours of the article posting, the Watchtower organization pulled their membership out, because this would be serious damage control. If Jehovah's Witnesses knew that they were secretly part of the United Nations, the whole house of cards would fall down.
Wow.
And one of the reasons that Jehovah's Witnesses don't vote, for example, is because we're told the government is like, it's evil, it's bad. They respect the government, but they're told, you can't vote because we're no part of the world. Don't get involved in government, like nothing like that. That's why Jehovah's Witnesses don't vote. That's why they don't salute the flag. So it's huge hypocrisy that while they're telling us to have nothing to do with the government or taking government type jobs, that they were a part of the United Nations. So when I first raised this question, when I became targeted and I started asking questions, when I started to find this stuff, I had Jehovah's Witnesses tell me that that's a lie. We were never part of the United Nations. And I tried to explain it's on the UN.org website. And they're like, they won't even look. They're trained where when you question these things, they won't even look at it. They'll just say it's a lie without looking at it. So I just wanted to show, like, you can find this on the United Nations website. So another thing that Jehovah's Witnesses have done, or let me show you this first. So this is just like a New World Order power structure pyramid that somebody online made. I can't say that this is accurate, but this is just somebody's depiction of the whole system. But what you see right here is where I have this arrow. It's showing the United Nations. So if this depiction is right, this is how high up the United Nations is and this global New World Order agenda. And then if you look at, so then you got to ask yourself too, what is the Watchtower organization doing with with the United Nations? And they're that far up this Illuminati like pyramid structure. Now this top arrow is pointing at the very tip of the pyramid, and it says Council of 13. So there was another JW researcher, I forget what his name was, but he wrote a book, and I think the book was titled Watchtower and Freemasons. I forget what the guy's name was, but he said that he traced the founder of the Watchtower organization's roots to the 13 families. The founder of the Watchtower organization, his name is Charles Taze Russell, and many people have said that he had Freemasonic connections. But this researcher said that Charles Taze Russell was part of these 13 bloodline families. So if that's true, then that's kind of what we're dealing with as far as the true roots behind a Watchtower organization, what they're involved in. And right above the 13 bloodline families, it's depicting, Lucifer himself, the all-seeing eye, the light bearer. And one thing Jehovah's Witnesses always talk about is they always change their doctrine. Like they'll teach a doctrine, and then like when they contradict themselves, they'll change it, but they won't say they're wrong. They'll say, oh, the light got brighter. The light got brighter. God gave us the light got brighter. And I think that's a reference to Lucifer, because Lucifer his name is supposed to mean the light bearer, the bringer of light. So it's always light, all seeing eye, seeing everything, lighting everything up, illuminating. So Jehovah's Witnesses, again, they use those terms, the light getting brighter, illuminating.
Wow. So back to that one compound where they had the lines.
Yep.
Is that the illuminated rays, you think? Is that what they're trying to depict there in that all-seeing eye? And then below that, all the fields, the way they were like, manicured, and they had the lines. Is that the rays like you see there at the all-seeing eye?
That's a good observation. Yep. Probably it makes sense, because you could see whoever constructed that assembly hall, they did incredible detail, like the way that it's done.
This is amazing. I've never seen anyone put this together like this. You did incredible research. Good job, Gwen.
I think it's only with God's spirit, honestly. It's only with that.
God's definitely directing you. So good job. Thank you, God.
So this is an article you can find on JW website, their own website. and I want to keep emphasizing what you can find on their own website, because they try to say everything online is a lie. So when you can show them something on their website, it more so exposes it. So if you search this article on their website, jw.org, will life ever return to normal? And I highlighted at the bottom, it says founder of the World Economic Forum, Klaus Schwab. So they're quoting Klaus Schwab like he's a good guy, like they're putting him there like this is somebody who is of somewhat importance. And most Jehovah's Witnesses have no idea what the WEF is actually all about. But when they put stuff like this on their website, it basically sends subliminal messages to their members that Klaus Schwab is okay. Like, oh yeah, Klaus Schwab, yeah, he's a good guy. They even count in this paragraph above that, Dr. Anthony Fauci. So they basically have subtle ways of even promoting those characters specifically. So this is how they keep the average Jehovah's Witnesses from not understanding that they're preaching the New World Order, they're connected with it. They tell us that conspiracy theories are bad. And I've seen one JW give a talk where he actually went as far as to say conspiracy theories are demonic, stay away from them. Mm-hmm. So if you go against their website, type in protect yourself from misinformation and this bullet point conspiracy theories. So at the bottom of this article, where it says the truth about conspiracy theories, and you see right here what I highlighted, why are they dangerous? So they tell their members that conspiracy theories are dangerous. Don't listen to them. And the Jehovah's Witnesses listen. They stay away from conspiracy theories, because if the watchtower of the organization says they're dangerous, they're demonic, they will just listen. They will just obey. So most Jehovah's Witnesses, they'll never even see what they're preaching. They'll never will realize what they're in, because they're told to stay away from conspiracies. So they're not going to realize that, they're part of this whole Illuminati Freemasonic structure. So this is the Georgia Guidestones. And it says, many people are familiar with this one. This is the first thing I think it says: maintain humanity under 500 million. So Jehovah's Witnesses, they believe that they're the only ones that are going to survive Armageddon, Judgment Day, the apocalypse. And right now they claim to be at about 8.5 million is what they claim to be. So they're constantly trying to get their numbers up. I can't say for a fact, I'm only speculating at this point, but I believe that their goal is to get as close to 500 million as possible. But it's not just Jehovah's Witnesses, is that a lot of those smaller religions, like the Seventh-day Adventists, maybe the Mormons, I'm not sure about them, but I think a lot of these smaller religions that were started with Freemasonic connections, what I believe is that that's the New World Order's plan, is that they don't want to allow people to live that are concerned about their Second Amendment rights. The deep state, they want, when they say 500 million, they want people that are going to be submissive, slaves, brainwashed, that would do whatever that they say. So Jehovah's Witnesses, they're working with a small number. They have 8 billion, but what they think is that God's going to basically depopulate everybody else. So this number under 500 million, that's probably what the deep state is thinking. Those are the type of people who they want, people who will just do whatever they're told. And one thing about Jehovah's Witnesses is that they're conditioned to be absolutely submissive, to the point where, for example, Jehovah's Witnesses are not allowed to have beards. They can have a mustache, but they can't have beards. And if you ever see go to Jehovah's Witness convention or go online and look at their speakers, you'll see they're all clean shaven. And at the local congregation, if you have a beard, they're not gonna kick you out, but they will punish you. They won't let you give meeting parts. They won't give you certain responsibilities. they have a problem wearing a beard. They say if you're a male in the congregation, you can't have a beard. Well, it doesn't make any sense because Jesus wore a beard. All the apostles had beards. Everyone who wrote the Bible wore a beard. God gave us to have a beard for a reason.
Mhm.
Yet, just because the governing body of Jehovah's Witnesses, those are the leaders, all they have to do is say you can't wear a beard, and they're completely submissive. Oh, we can't wear a beard because the governing body said so, and God is directing them. That's how submissive they are. So forget about their right to bear arms or wanting a gun. They won't even wear a beard if they're told to.
Hmm.
That is the type of people that the New World Order wants. So Jehovah's Witnesses don't realize, like, all this preaching, this is what they're preaching. They're preaching this New World Order. So, and I'm almost done. There's not too much left. This is one of their old study books. When you want to become a Jehovah's Witness, you have to study a book, of course, written by them, which is kind of basically agreeing to all their doctrine and saying you believe it before they let you get baptized. So this was one of the older books that they had called You Can Live Forever in Paradise. So what Jehovah's Witnesses believe is that only a small amount of people are going to go to heaven, but the majority of mankind is going to live forever. They're never going to die. They're going to live forever on earth, forever. Their immortality is what they're talking about on earth. So this has been their theme for over 100 years. And this right here is their newest version. If you go to their website, their newest version, this is a book you can download online, Enjoy Life Forever. So again, that theme is they're trying to live forever on earth with never dying. That's what they were selling people, living forever. Now, this is where it's connected to the New World Order. So notice this article right here. It says Microsoft patents details tech that could turn dead people into AI chatbots. So what they're starting to do, and this is just not covering the whole basis of it, but the deep state, they're trying to figure out how to unload or how to download people's consciousness into computers and stuff like that, and basically live forever through transhumanism. So this is the start of it. They're going to start collecting data, or they're already doing it, and they're trying to create basically like a digital chatbot of someone who have died. And this picture right here, this is from a TV show called Black Mirror, where they did a TV show on it. And this TV show, they went as far as actually having like an actual clone of the person, not just a chat bot through her cell phone, like actually making like some sort of a clone, what someone's consciousness downloaded into it. And I believe what Jehovah's Witnesses don't realize is that this is what they're preaching. They're being promised that they're going to live forever on earth and never die. So this is a recent Watchtower article. This is one of their magazines that they're studying. I believe this is the April 2023 Watchtower magazine. You can download it from their own website. And I just highlighted this point here because it's talking about, their promise of like living forever. And this is talking about what they believe the resurrection is. But it says here where I highlight it, it says, think of how well Jehovah God must know us in order to recreate us with our personality and memories intact. And what's interesting is that, the Bible talks about how Jesus resurrected Lazarus. And when the Bible talks about resurrections, they just brought people back to life. But Jehovah's Witnesses use this interesting term, recreate. Like they don't just say, oh, come back from the dead. Jehovah's going to raise you up. They say recreate. And I want to show another example of the terminology they use. So this is from a book you can also download directly from their website. It's called Draw Close to Jehovah. And this is page 242. I believe it's chapter 24, I think. And again, it says right here where I have highlighted, how intimately Jehovah must know us in order to recreate us. He values us so much that he remembers every detail, including our genetic code.
Wow.
So they're not using typical Christian beliefs of raising from the dead or being resurrected or ascended.
Mm.
They're using terminology that sounds like they're talking about some sort of like artificial recreation.
Cloning, yeah. Mm.
Exactly. And then here's another interesting thing. Many people have heard this. So Jared Kushner believes he might live forever and never die. So he made a public statement of basically transhumanism. He doesn't get into detail everything, but he puts that out there about living forever. And again, this is the message of Jehovah's Witnesses. Do you want to live forever? They don't want to go to heaven. They don't believe that they're going to go to heaven. They believe a tiny amount. Only the ones leading pretty much are the ones they believe are going to heaven. But they're preaching, do you want to live forever? If they come to your door, that's what they're selling you. You can live forever and never die.
Hmm.
So not only is this interesting about Jared Kushner, so this right here is the old headquarters of the Watchtower organization in Brooklyn, New York. So the address is 25 Columbia Heights. So they now moved their location to Warwick, New York, but this is Brooklyn, Bethel. It could be a coincidence that it's shaped like a pyramid like this. You never know with these people what you're dealing with. But what's interesting about this building is that they sold it to Jared Kushner, of all people. So that's kind of a weird coincidence.
Wow.
That he's talking about living forever, and that just happens to be who the Jehovah's Witnesses sell their ward headquarters to, their property to his company. That's a strange coincidence. And another thing, and I can't verify this because I don't have the type of resources, but some other people who have researched the Watchtower, some have claimed that under this building there's an underground tunnel system. And some had even said that, they believe there could be child trafficking that they're involved in. What better place to hide something like that under Watchtower? Someone nobody's going to expect. Now, all that I can say is that if anybody can verify that there's any sort of tunnels underneath this building, maybe there's blueprints. I think I heard somebody say that they might have been paying rent to the city for tunnels or something like that. But this is just conspiracy. So like if there are tunnels there, if somebody can verify that there's tunnels there, I can say from a Jehovah's Witness, there shouldn't be tunnels under there. Because as far as we know, there's nothing under there like that. And Jehovah's Witnesses would always let Jehovah's Witnesses tour the buildings. And when you tour the buildings, they would show you around and show you everything. So if there's any tunnels under there, that is a huge secret that Jehovah's Witnesses do not know. Now, I don't know if that's true, but the fact they showed it to Jared Kushner of all people, you never know, because it's in good hands according to them. They're not going to just sell it to anybody if there's a reason that they sold it, but they sold it to him of all people.
Yeah, it looks like right there they have the roadway going underground, so it's not too much of a stretch to think that they might have some other underground facilities around that area.
Yeah. So those are, and there's a lot of stuff that you could research online, but those are like basically hardcore facts that you can see for yourself. They're connected with Freemasons. They got the symbols on their website. They're connected with the Illuminati. There's no way that Assembly Hall was constructed like that by accident. Yeah, they're definitely part of the deep state. And I think that's the agenda. If Jehovah's Witnesses come to your door, you can ask them, hey, do you guys believe you're going to live forever? And they're going to start talking about it. They don't realize they're talking about transhumanism, but they're going to start talking about living forever. And they don't call it depopulation, but if you ask them, is God going to destroy people? What they're going to say is that, oh yeah, all the wicked are going to be destroyed. But once you study with them and get involved in all their teachings, what they're saying is that God is going to depopulate everybody, most likely under 500 million, and only Jehovah's Witnesses are going to survive, and they're going to build back their New World Order. And I also believe that Jehovah's Witnesses are not the only, again, part of that group. They think that, but I think Seventh-day Adventists and some of these other smaller groups, I think they're all part of that Georgia Guidestone number. But basically, once I got targeted And again, and I started looking at stuff. I've had other Jehovah's Witnesses that I felt were involved in my targeting, and that's when I really started to look into them. And once I started to figure stuff out, I even started to question other Jehovah's Witnesses. They were my friends, and as soon as I started to question people, they completely turned against me. Right away, they're like, that's dangerous. That's dangerous. You're not supposed to look at it. And I kept saying, well, why? If the organization is not hiding anything, why is it dangerous? And like they all act the same way. It's sort of like if you've seen the movie Manchurian Candidate, how like all the everyone who was involved with Raymond Shaw, his unit there, if somebody asked, what's Raymond Shaw like? They would all say the same exact thing. Raymond Shaw is the most honorable person, like, and you can tell that like it was like a switch got snapped or switch got flipped, where if once someone asked about Raymond Shaw, they immediately went into this whole dialogue on how good Raymond Shaw was. And just like in that movie, that's how Jehovah's Witnesses started to act. When I started to ask questions, it was like a switch went off, and they flipped out. Yeah, so that's the connection with the JWs. I don't know if before I get into like some of the target and stuff, if you wanted to touch back on some of those things, or it's up to you.
Yeah, thanks. That was an outstanding presentation. I think everybody's going to love that one. The only thing I have a question about is how is the tie-in with the like Freemasonry and some of these other secret organizations? Where do you think what's going on with that?
So if Charles Taze Russell is part of the 13 bloodlines, I don't know if that's accurate, but maybe somebody else with resources can research that. Then what I think is that these New World Order people, and again, not the regular Freemasons, but more so like the secret society where you get up to like the 33 degrees and they're connected with the Illuminati. So on that high level, this New World Order plan is over 100 years old. So they've been slowly trying to bring about this New World Order, this living forever, this transhumanism thing. So what I believe is that they've set up these other religions to groom them for this New World Order, because they need people. They definitely need people to rule over and to be their slaves, but they don't want people who want guns. They don't want people that are going to stand up for their rights. They don't want people that are going to say, no,